Your story's sad to tell. A teenage ne'er-do-well. Most mixed up long delinquent on the block. Your future's so unclear now. What's left of your career now? Can't even get a trade-in on your spark. La 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 la. I like to start my discussions, some not all of them, but a few of them with a little sing song. You probably think I can't sing. You probably think I'm rubbish at singing, but this is just a discussion about various films which some would feel reviewing by Christians and some wouldn't, and I'm just trying to show both sides of the argument really. This one, it is as a double feature here, Grease 1 and Grease 2. Well, originally, when I was a child, I think I was I might have been about 9 maybe. I went to the first one with my parents, and it wasn't a film that they were very keen on really. What they actually felt about it, they felt it was taking the sexual morality of the late 70s and but placing it in the 50s where it didn't belong. They thought it was a rather anachronistic film. It's a PG, contains mild language and sex references. As you probably know, PG stands for parental guidance. But it's not a film that could ever have been considered for a U certificate. What can I say about it? It's I think depending on what your opinion is of the film, it's either a rather innocuous teen romance, or it's about a 1950s high school girl giving into peer pressure to lose her virginity. And the Daily Mail newspaper have got a bit of a aren't particularly fond of the film industry, and they've got a bit of a bone. Very often a bit of a bone to pick with them. In the early 80s, they had a ban the sadist videos campaign when they would try and get the all the video nasty taken off the shelves, such as Cannibal Holocaust and Zombie Flesh Eaters and Driller Killer, Last House on the Left and what have you. And I remember there was, I don't know what, I think that film Showgirls, I think that came out in the 90s, didn't it? And the Daily Mail film critic published this article saying what an appalling amoral film it was. And there were, I vaguely remember there being an article on Grease in the Daily Mail newspaper, sort of implying that they considered it to be questionable. And at the time, John Travolta had become quite famous for appearing in the film Saturday Night Fever. It's it was a Saturday Night Fever. It was a film that was notorious for notorious for its language, and its sexual content and its sexual violence, and it was X-rated. It sort of released. I think it released in Britain sort of 1977, 1978. I'm not sure what year, and it was X-rated. You had to be 18 to see it, and they released. Then soon after that, I think there was. I think it was felt that a lot of younger teenagers would like to see the film, so they released an edited version of it that with an A certificate, meaning that it was an A certificate means that stands for adult. It means that the film has adult material in it, but anyone can be admitted to it. Anyway, we're not talking about Saturday Night Fever. We're talking about Grease, aren't we? Grease. It's as I've said, it it's a pop musical, and the thing is about some of the lyrics, they could be interpreted to mean that the film is actually about a 1950s high school girl giving into peer pressure to lose her virginity. And there's a certain amount of sexual content in it. There's a scene where a young couple are in the back seat of a car, are in the car, and they discover that their condoms that they've been using has split, and there's a danger of the girl being pregnant due to that. And there's another scene where with the two lead characters, John Travolta and Sandy. John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, and John Travolta plays Danny Zuko, and Olivia Newton-John plays Sandy, and he's sort of I think there's one scene where he's trying. He's actually attempting to have sex with Danny is attempting to have sex with Sandy. He puts an engagement ring on the finger, and then he starts attempting to have sex with her in a car, but she resists, and she runs off, and I'm not going to stay with you in this sin wagon, or words to that effect. But and she slams the door on him, and it hurts him. It sort of hurts him down below. But there are odd little things like that in it. It's not a really innocuous film. It's not as innocent. The film isn't as innocent as what you might think, but probably the main problem with it is a song called "Look at Me, I'm Sandra Dee," and in this song she's sort of being ridiculed for her stance on sexual morality in this song, and later on towards the end of the film, she sings this. She sings a reprise to this song. Olivia Newton-John sings a reprise, sort of sings another different version of this song called Goodbye to Sandra Dee, which is sort of implying that she's saying goodbye to her old self, and her morals are going to start to deteriorate, so that she can be in a sexual relationship with this Danny Zuko. But it's tricky. But the question of whether it's suitable for Christians or not is a bit tricky, really. It's I suppose you could say that you have to remember that the Bible doesn't really tell us what films we can and can't watch. It makes it clear to us that we should abstain from fornication, which is premarital sex, and that such things should not even be mentioned among us, which means that we shouldn't watch them for entertainment. But having said that, you can't say that Grease is a totally bad film, but by any standards, really. It's just it's you can't say it's a perfect film, but it's you can't say that it's a completely bad film either. There is, I mean, it's. And the same goes for virtually all PG films. I think in America they've actually rated this film as PG-13, which means it's a parental guidance 13. It's sort of the rating implies that the film may not be suitable for children under 13. And it doesn't surprise me that they're giving it that rating. But I think the main criticism of the film, as I've said, from a Christian standpoint, could be that you could say that the main theme of it is actually about is a 1950s high school girl given into peer pressure to lose her virginity, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the film is all bad. I mean, there's another film I can think of called Titanic. A lot of people will have seen that one, and it is actually about a sexual relationship which occurs between two people who've met each other on this ship before it starts to sink. But one of them survives. One of them lives to tell the tale. One of them doesn't. One of them falls in the river, and it falls in the water and just freezes. Sort of. But one of them just, I think I'm not sure whether he freezes to death and just falls in the water, or in the water, or if or he's so freezing cold that he can't hold on to this raft any longer, and he just falls in the river and drowns. But he does die. But the actual film of the actual theme of the film is about a sexual relationship that starts to occur before the ship starts to sink. But having said that, it's not a completely bad film by any stretch of the imagination. Not especially not by today's standards. So you got to remember that I think you can criticise another person's choice of entertainment, too much, because you got to remember that Jesus said, don't pull the straw out of your brother's eye until you've pulled the rafter out of your own eye. And but by that, what he actually meant by that was, don't be holier than thou. Don't be hypocritical. Don't criticise what other people do too much. If someone if someone watches Grease and you don't think you should be watching it, well, just stay out of their business, basically, because it's not a completely bad film. Anyway, by any stretch of the imagination, I'll be back. I used to always write scripts out for me. For me, discussions, write down what I was going to say. I don't do that anymore. I've gone all lazy now. It's just, it must be just middle age. But I'll read the back. Grease is the one that you want. Go back to high school with Pink Lady Sandy, Olivia Newton-John, leader of the Bad Boy T-Birds, Danny, John Travolta, and a rocking and rolling all-star cast. Grease is the word. It tells you what the special features are, but it's basically either a bad film or a good film, depending on how you interpret the song lyrics. Really, that's what I say about it. But I tell you a little thing about this film. My local cinema in Northwich, the Regal Cinema, which was a local cinema in Northwich, Cheshire, closed down a number of years ago. I think it would have been about, I can't, it might have been 10 years ago. It might have been more than that. I can't remember what year it closed down. And they had a vote as to what they would show for the final film there before they closed it down. And this was a film that got voted because it was a very popular film. It was a film that everyone was going to see. That the cinema was absolutely packed. It went and this was the last film that got shown at the Regal Cinema in Northwich. And John Travolta actually sent a signed photograph of himself, because he was sent a telegram or something saying that we were showing his film at our cinema in Northwich in Cheshire, and he sent a signed photograph of himself. And at the time, I didn't go to see it, because my mother was still alive, and she knew that my dad had always had a thing against this film. It wasn't a film that he was particularly ever fond of. So he always disliked this film. So, because he felt there was something wrong with it, something morally wrong with it. So that's why I didn't go and see it. But anyway, I'll be doing a couple of discussions on a couple more, maybe 2 or 3 more films in this series, about whether they are suitable for Christians or not. Which the thing is, I mean, this is a PG. The same principle even applies to films with a higher rating, as well, not just PGs. Anyway, I think I've waffled on a bit too watching this one, haven't I? I'll have to say goodbye at this point to Tra.